Can you all hear me?
I can, Cindy.
Awesome. Hello.
Yes. Hi, Cindy. Or
Hi.
Brandy.
Hi.
Susan.
How's it going?
Oh,
Great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, thank you. Let me share my screen. We wait a couple minutes because people start joining in after their last call here. Can you guys see my screen okay?
yep.
Awesome. Lisa, is this your first time joining?
Yes, it is. Actually, I talked to Pete and he actually referred me to you and actually gave me the link for the call. So
Awesome.
it's my pleasure to meet you. I also have a doctor's appointment, so I need to leave about 12:30, a quarter
No
till, I
problem.
don't know. So
No problem.
I just didn't want to disappear on you.
Yeah, it's all good. And I see Pete's joined us. Hi, Pete. Pete's on mute. Is include.
I was going to
Sorry?
say it's dead last for me. Dead last.
I don't know. I'll have to look on mine where includer is. Let's look.
21 on mine.
21 for you? Okay, let me look and see what mine is.
Yep.
Actually,
My
let me
last two are woo and includer. I thought woo would be last.
yeah, those usually go together too. Let's look here.
So I am the anti-includer.
My brother's last one too. Oh, it's looking pretty low for me too. Yep, 28.
And yeah, whoa, excuse me, whoa, woo.
Whoa, woo.
Down low. Yeah, I may as well call it whoa as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, look at my empathy. It's so low. Okay. Let's present this again. We will get going. Hi, Chad. Thank you so much for joining, sir. Anybody else? Okay.
Hello everyone. Thanks for having me and doing this.
Okay, we're going to talk about includer today. Let's roll out the welcome mat, as an includer would say. They are found, this strength is found in a person's top 5 strength capacity 12% of the time. So it is a little bit more rare than some of the other strengths that we have looked at. It's not quite in the single digits, but it's close. And out of the 4 quadrants that the strengths can fall into, it falls into the relationship building area. And in the strength zone set, it falls into the second zone, which is the zone that you can think of as, you know, good at facilitating, collaborating, or moderating. All right, so here is the list of traits that an includer might have. People with includer make people feel important, included, accepted, and involved. Their main goal is to include everyone so that no one ever feels left out. So some of the key words for includers are everyone, include, don't exclude. Okay, they really, really, truly care for every single person. They want every single person to feel welcome. They want every single person to feel included and a part of the group and the community and the team. They think that people benefit from the community or the group's warmth and joy and support. And so they want everyone to feel like they have access to that. They're very good at seeing what people are contributing and recognizing that and acknowledging that so that those people feel important. And so that the rest of the group and the team also appreciates that person. Does anybody on the call know anybody like this?
I do. That would be myself, as I have Includer as my number 3 in my top 5.
Okay, so you tell us then, Chad, what's the pros and cons of being an includer?
The pros of being an includer are, well, personally, I feel good that I have the opportunity to make everyone else feel good, included, a part of. And again, it just goes to, I'm into service. And again, I just want to make sure that everybody's always comfortable. The cons to that is always being like, he always tries to go like how I'm perceived by others, who always like, I would never do that. Just like, I couldn't see myself doing that, just by the people who would never be an includer.
Uh-huh.
And just that, like, basically as always seeing as like a goody two shoes or something like that, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and so what happens is everybody likes you because they feel included by you. They feel welcome. They feel like you meet them where they are. You accept them for exactly who they are and where they are. So everybody likes you and wants to be around you and wants to be included and wants to be a part of.
Sorry to cut you off. That may be the biggest one. The biggest pro is everyone likes you.
Yes.
The biggest con is some people hate you for that, or not hate you, or they resent you, or they think that you're like, this is a subconscious thing. They think that you're calculating, trying to get everyone to like you.
Right.
When that's really not it at all. It's just my personality.
Right. And you're coming at it from a good place of wanting people to feel comfortable, where the perception could be like, why is he always got to include everybody? Why does everybody like this guy? Like, what's going on really here?
Mm-hmm.
And also, there are times when you are being super inclusive of including everybody when, maybe that's not quite the right thing to do in that environment or at that time as well. So for example, let's say you're managing somebody who has relator, and relator, they thrive on a one-on-one situation. So they ask you to go to lunch and they say, hey, I'd love to go to lunch with you. Say, okay, great. We're going to lunch. And then you're like, hey, let's include so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. They're around, blah, blah. And the relator's like,
Happens all the time. Story of my life.
I just wanted a one-on-one, because that's against your nature, to not include people and just be exclusive and do a one-on-one lunch with somebody is really against your nature, where it goes with the relator personality.
There have been many times where that has happened, and I've had to go to the people because I've just invited people without talking to the quote unquote relator, and then I have to go back and be like, hey, let's go another day. And I've had to repair those.
Yeah, where for you wouldn't mind, right? If you were going one-on-one with somebody and they invited the horde, you'd be like, come with us, let's go.
More opinions, the more, especially if I don't a one-on-one. I like a one-on-many. So
there you go. Okay, great. So when includer is intensified, when it's paired with the following strength that's intensified, and we got 2 slides here for this. So when includer is paired in somebody's top 5 strengths with connectedness and includer both, sorry, I'm not saying that properly. When somebody has both includer and connectedness in their top 5 strengths, it's intensified because, like we just said, includers like to include everyone. Connectedness seek to connect with everyone cross-culturally. So if someone has both, then they're really, really interested in including and connecting with a lot of people. Also with consistency, so includers truly care for all people. Consistency believe in treating people equally and fairly, as do includers see people as equally important. Includers are trying to find a common ground. Consistency want the rules to be consistent for everyone. So when you get these two types of strengths in the same person, in the top 5 strengths, all of these qualities here on the screen are exemplified. And if they're also an empath, right? So you're an includer and you're an empath, you really care about people feeling good, feeling included, you know, just feeling supported. Does anybody have 2 of these in their top 5?
Not in my top 5, but they're all in the top 17.
What about any of these?
Positivity is number 2 for me.
Yes. And you're gonna see that's a very common pairing.
And harmony is number 6.
Okay. Yeah. So when you have those close by, when you have them close together, then you're really going to be, you know, a peaceful, accommodating, making sure everybody is included, making sure everybody is happy, making sure they're recognized and praised and valued. You know, you're going to be super intensified on those. And when I say intensified, everybody, that just means that someone feels very strongly about those things. It's a necessity, it's a value, and it's extremely important to that person to make sure these things are happening.
Brandy, this is Mariana. I have includer 5 and empathy 34. Does that do anything different?
It just means that you're going to have the traits of an includer, but you're not going to come at it from empathy. So you are going to want to make sure people are feeling included and accepted and valued, but you don't necessarily feel what they're feeling. That's not where you're coming at that from. Where like someone who has both, they feel how the other person's feeling. They not only have a value and want them to be included and accepted, but they're also feeling how that person might be feeling if they're left out. And so it really heightens it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Brandy, I have positivity and harmony back to back, 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you're going to really try to be accommodating and accepting and try to, you know, get people aligned and get all those voices heard, but do it in such a positive way. You know, you're not going to want a bunch of criticism or negativity when it comes to getting people aligned.
Okay.
Includer and positivity, like what Chad has, is found 38% of the time. That is a very, very normal pairing. So one, we say, okay, Chad took the assessment authentically. That's a very accurate type of result. 1, and number 2, he's intensified with that includer and positivity. What you don't see includer paired with ever is command.
That's my number 1. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I was gonna be like, then you're an anomaly.
Yeah, command's way down there, I'm pretty sure, for me.
Yeah.
Let me go check. Yeah, number 32.
My brother has
34.
command in his top 5, and he has includer at the very bottom, 34. Yeah.
We're the inverse of each other.
That's right. That's exactly right. Complete opposites. Opposite ends of the scale. So obviously, if someone has includer and then someone else has command, there could be some conflict between those 2 people. Because, oh, sorry, I didn't update this. Let's do it now. Let's take this. Okay. So command is, command welcomes conflict. Okay, they believe conflict is the first step towards resolution. Okay, whereas includer is definitely doesn't think that way, right? Includer says, let's get everybody's opinions out on the table and make a collaborative decision. And command makes more of a, command just makes a decision. Let's just put it that way. I'll clean it up, but that's kind of the gist, okay? Slideshow.
Yeah.
Yeah, command just says, I'm in charge, this is what we need to do, let's go. Includer is gonna be like, no, let's hear everybody's perspective before we make a decision.
Could that be why context is also my number one?
Why, what? Say that, what do you mean?
Because, why I want to get everyone's opinion on the table and make a collaborative decision. So I want that context of everybody's opinion and to make that decision.
So it's actually coming mostly from your includer,
Okay.
getting everybody's opinion out on the table. But the minute that you start asking about someone's past, their history, that's
Okay.
your context coming into play.
Okay.
So if you think about an includer without context, they might not ask about the history. They're just going to ask about the current perspective or opinion. And if you don't have includer, the whole goal goes out the window. A context isn't trying to get somebody aligned and help them feel included, and make sure that they feel welcome. Nada. That's only the includer that's doing that. Context is essentially learning about something historical.
Yes, I remember that. We did this one already too. So yes.
Yeah. And if you have an includer and you have a competitor, you could also butt heads, because an includer is inclusive, where competition, somebody's got to win, right? There's got to be a bunch of losers and there's got to be a winner. And so it can be more of an exclusive type strength at times. Relators the same way, like we said, right? They can be exclusive because they want just one-on-one time. And they also really just value people that are like them, right? That they can relate with, versus includers, like, to invite everyone and try to get along with everyone. Relators aren't like that. Obviously, some of the things we've talked about already, when they are intensified, when they're in a person's top 5 strengths together, those strengths, when you see them in different people, they are connectors. So if you have an includer over here and a connectedness person over here, they may potentially get along because of I would say, connecting traits that they have in each one of the descriptions of the strengths. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Includers are not at their best when people are being ignored, people are being judged, when people's voices are not being heard, when people aren't being shown care or acceptance, feelings are getting hurt, their value is being overlooked, there's no warmth, just all of those people-y things, right? That if they're not happening, then the includer is very uncomfortable and definitely, feeling a bit unstable and feeling upset and frustrated.
Guilty. Which makes me an advocate for what I quote, or what I like to call the voiceless at that moment. And I speak up for those people, or I make sure that they are included, or find some way to get them included, highlight what they can bring to whatever we're doing.
Yeah, you basically are the spokesperson for that. You represent those unheard voices.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Brandy, I would say that I have self-assurance and communication, and I did a core clarity session once, and they told me that was command. Like if you combine those two, it creates command. Because I'm looking at this list, and I do love including people, making sure everybody has a voice. But some of these other things where feelings aren't getting hurt, kind of thing. Not that I want people to get feelings hurt. It's not something that sticks out to me. Could it be because of the command for those two?
So you're asking a lot of questions here. Let me break this down for everybody to understand. So it was self-assurance, and what was the other one?
Communication. They told me that.
Yeah. So I understand. I've been through core clarity too. So when you have self-assurance, and communication paired together in a person's top 5 strengths, it can start looking like what command does. Now, it doesn't come from the intention, the motivation, or the place of command, how command thinks about it, but to others, it can be perceived as command. Does that make sense?
Yes, no, definitely, because I think
Okay.
I was shocked that command wasn't on my top. It's not, I don't even think it's in my top 10. So just because people perceive that, I think you're right.
Right. So it's not that you are a command. You don't necessarily
Okay.
have a command strength. You don't come from command. You don't think like command. You think like a self-assurance communicator, but
Okay.
it can be perceived to others as
Okay.
looking like command. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And then basically what you're saying is what we address when we think of priority. So where's your includer? What number is it?
That's number 5.
That's your number 5?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay, so you have 4 strengths ahead of it, right? That are more important than includer. And those include communication, self-assurance, what else?
Achiever and a ranger, and I think a ranger plays a big part of that too.
Yes. So one, you're not afraid to say something because that's your communication, right? Your self-assurance is the one that's just simply confident and doesn't care about what other people think, right? It's the one that says, I know what we need to do. I'm not worried about what everybody else is thinking. This is just what we need to do. So you've got, it is coming from those two. It's not necessarily the achiever or ranger that you're asking about. It is the communication self-assurance that is going to speak up, and it's very confident in what it believes. And those 2 things are more important than caring about hurting someone's feelings, which is your includer.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
that doesn't mean you don't care about feelings, because you do, because you have includer, which means you actually really do care about their feelings. And so although you're going to say something confidently and you're going to say what needs to be said, you're going to do it in a way that hopefully doesn't hurt feelings.
Okay.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Brandy. I'm sorry. Can I ask a question? Because Mariana's question kind of sparked something. Are there other traits that, if combined, can give off a false positive of another
Yes,
trait?
exactly. So like I have achiever and relator, and that starts to look like responsibility to other people.
That sounds funny. That starts to look like responsibility.
I don't like responsibility. Okay. I'm like, oh, I'm not motivated by taking on responsibilities. But what I am motivated by is achieving for other people.
Question. How
Huh?
can you not have responsibility but have discipline? Doesn't that have some responsibility in there?
I actually have responsibility in my top 10, Susan. But if you have discipline, all you're thinking about is, here's my discipline, guys. I don't know if you can see this. It's a planner, right? And you just plan out your life on a planner, and then you
Okay.
follow the plan. That's all discipline is. Plan out
Okay.
your life, follow the plan. That has nothing to do with anybody else, right? Plan out my life, follow the plan.
Yeah.
Where responsibility has to have another person. It has to
Okay.
say, I'm going to make a commitment to you. And because I've made that commitment to you, I am going to keep it. I am dependable. But
Okay.
if I don't make a commitment to you, I'm not responsible.
Yeah.
Where discipline doesn't feel the responsibility, it just says, well, I didn't write it down in my plan, so I'm not doing it. But if it's in my plan, I'm doing it, and nothing's getting in the way of that.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you can be disciplined enough to go to the gym every day, but be completely irresponsible in your life.
Yeah, people could say you don't ever do what you say you're going to do, and then the disciplined person could be like, Well, it's not in my planner. I didn't plan for it.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to includer here. This is their best environment, right? Connecting people, caring for them, you know, an environment that says we need you to be inclusive. We need you to invite people. We need you to accept them. This is what we need to have happen here. If you do this, then you win. This is how you do a good job, as if you're doing these things. What to you guys, would be an environment where you feel like people really need to be included or feel included quite quickly?
New hire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, any sort of welcoming somebody to the group, to the company, includers should always be involved there.
I think of when somebody's coming in and visiting, like at a church or at an event or things
Yep.
like that.
Absolutely.
That's really that assimilation part of it, to get them in the door and feeling comfortable. And I think about it because I do a lot of church ministry, is that making them feel important. You know, people always say, well, did you feel welcome? So includers are always great for that.
Right. So anything community related. Okay. All right. What do they love to hear? Right? What do they love to be recognized for, and what kind of feedback do they like to get? They want to hear from others that, wow, you're so accepting, you're so caring, you're always thinking of others, you really truly care about them, and you know, you help us feel welcome and important, and you know, I feel like what I have to offer is valued by you and by others. And you know, when these are the types of things that they're hearing around them, they're feeling like they've done a good job. When they hear these types of things, they're not feeling welcome, right? They're not feeling like they are in the right environment. So they're hearing people say, I don't like him, I don't like her. They hear people judging each other. You know, they might tell the person, you're too inclusive, you're too generous, just ignore him or her. You know, those types of sort of catty type environments, includers are not happy campers in those types of places. So let me ask you guys this: where would an includer not work out well?
Any kind of
circle.
any kind of political office politics environment kind of thing, where you got some under the table things happening. I think they would probably not be super happy about having to pick sides and figure out who's undercutting who.
Mm-hmm.
Gossip circles, like office gossip circles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, drama.
What about I'm a patient and I'm going to see the doctor, and you're my spouse, and you invite the whole family to go to my doctor's appointment?
I don't think so.
My whole
Let's
family
all look and
doesn't
see what
like
color
those.
that thing is.
Yeah.
Right? So not a great place to be flexing the includer muscle. It's just not the right place. That's all. Okay.
So private matters is not the place to.
Exactly.
I can give you another one, Brandy, which is a lot of times we've learned travel is maybe not the best way to include everyone, just because it's such an intimate environment. And, you know, you have to really be kind of on the same page if you're doing some kind of traveling activity. And if you get everybody with their different palettes and their different wishes, and they all want to do different things, it kind of makes it a pain in the butt to do this traveling thing. So we've found that out when you include too many people.
Sure. So what you're kind of saying is a environment where people really want to do what they want to do, and they don't necessarily want to try to do it together, because together might mean they don't get to do what they want to do. And on vacation, people really want to do what they want to do.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's how we vacation. You know, my girlfriend and I absolutely are like, hey, everybody just, we'll have a couple of anchor events that we all do. And then we can all, you know, do whatever you want. You want to go get pizza, you go get pizza. We're going to go get Chinese food, whatever it is. And
Yep.
that's how we do it. But then when you get an includer on there, they're like, no, let's all go. Let's all 20 of us go
Yeah.
to this restaurant. We're like, no.
Right. Okay, so obviously balance is good. That's why we have different personalities to help one another balance each other out. Today, we're just really laser focusing on understanding this inclusive personality. On the screen, you've got other things they like to be recognized for. What first, Chad, for you, since you're a high includer, what's probably one of the best compliments you've ever personally gotten around your includer strength?
Coming from just inside work, in a work environment, just always, just being able to bring all groups together, and just Chad, he's just so nice. Oh, everybody loves Chad. Everybody loves Chad. Chad's so good to be around. Just Chad's always fun to be around.
Mhm.
And that's because I'm also the jokester also. And so I like including, I can have an quote, not an intimate conversation, but just a casual conversation. And it just becomes so outlandish to where everyone just starts to gravitate toward it. And every time someone comes, where I acknowledge that person and bring them in or bring them up to speed as to, but just like the main compliment as an includer, it's just Chad's a good guy, or Chad's just always good to be around.
Yeah, and you're really meshing that positivity and includer. I can hear it. I can hear both, where you know you're using the lightheartedness and the jokes and to get people engaged, and then you're welcoming them and bringing them in, and you know making sure that it's applicable to everyone. You know, again, that's that key word for includers, is everyone can participate.
I got to come off of mute for that one. Yeah, that is absolutely Chad to a T.
Oh, Steve,
and
are you
greatly appreciate what he brings to our team.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So thoughtful sounds like the basic of an includer.
You are very thoughtful. And in fact, Susan, CIO there. What's his name? Who's your CIO?
Oh, Andrew?
Andrew is an includer.
Oh, is he? Okay. Yeah, he is. He is
High
an includer.
High includer.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
He is.
So when they communicate, you know, you're going to hear them invite you, involve you, welcome you, right? They're not judgmental. They're certainly not going to hurt your feelings or give you bad news ever if they can avoid it at all costs. They want to make sure you feel important. I know Andrew did that for me, made me feel extremely important, always made me feel welcome and accepted, and made my contributions feel valued.
Yeah, good points. I never thought about him and being included. Yeah. Yeah.
When we talk to them, obviously, then we've got to flip it. We've got to be caring. We've got to make sure we're not judging others around them. They don't like that. You know, if we want to have credibility with these people, we don't, you know, set people apart from or exclude people. And, you know, they care about themselves being included, but not really compared to how much they care about others being included. So I've included or invited the includers, and they appreciate that because now it's established my character for them, but they don't necessarily say yes. They're not necessarily needing to feel like they have to come. They just want to, they just want to feel like they've been included.
Yeah. So in his position, so how does he, at that level, what is it that gives him the strength to be at that level that may not be, you know, the other C's may not have? I mean, he's got an includer. All C's don't have includer.
No, every different type of leader has different sets of strengths that they're leveraging to be the leader that they are.
Hmm.
He just
And I
happens
don't know why
to
I'm
be-
sideways.
He
by the
just
way.
happens to be a naturally inclusive leader.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Here are some engaging questions. If you're meeting an includer for the first time and you're just trying to get them engaged and get them talking and involved, these are the different types of questions that are going to turn their brains on from a neuroscience perspective. The brain just simply comes on by asking these types of things. You can ask them, who do you think, feels ignored? Do you think there's any voices that have been left out or forgotten that we need to hear from? Like they're gonna automatically have a read on those things. All right, if you have Includer and you are trying to sell or influence, there's lots of things that you can do to help that situation for yourself using your strength, which is to bring experts into the conversation because you have a knack for seeing that and being able to do that. Ensure that the client obviously feels heard, and figure out who to invite to the different parties or the business meetings and who not to invite. That's very important for you guys to think about, is what's inclusive, what's too inclusive. Obviously accepting the client, meeting them where they're at, making them feel involved or included, understanding what their needs are and matching those up and aligning them with the offerings that y'all have. I think that includers naturally have a focus on diversity and inclusion and equality. So I always recommend to get involved in those types of endeavors. And if you're going to go into sales, to maybe look at selling those types of products or services. And if we're trying to sell or influence an includer, we're going to want to be face-to-face. We're going to want to show them how the product helps them connect everyone or gets everybody aligned. We are going to want to show them how the product or services help everybody feel included and help, welcome them to the new organization or help them feel like a part of the team. Because these are the things they care about, they're going to want to buy products and services that enable or empower them to do these things better or more or at scale. They could also be interested in some type of recognition or acknowledgement or reward programs as well. All right, so if you are interviewing for a new job, there's ways that you can showcase your inclusion. And that's really by, giving some examples of saying, look, when I have included people and made everyone feel welcome, this is how, it impacted performance and collaboration and the results that my team got. These are this is an opportunity to be able to explain that to someone else, to show how your natural personality affects the bottom line. I feel like one thing that Andrew does very well from Susan's company is he also has context like you, Chad. He knows exactly how to write an email to the entire group that has information that is relevant and relatable to every single person in that group, and to communicate and disseminate information that the entire organization needs to hear. And I just think that is such an art. And when I saw his emails that he wrote to the team, I'm like, can you write mine, please? Those are fantastic. So good.
use some assistance in that department also.
Well, maybe you have a hidden talent that you just need to go, figure out how to use. So if I'm on the outside looking in, I might be like, okay, is this an includer or not? And what I'm looking for is, does this person seem uncomfortable if someone's being left out or someone's being judged? Does this person always seem to invite everyone to join? Do they get defensive if someone is being unaccepted into the group or excluded? And does this person seem to like and appreciate most people? These are some indicators for me to understand whether I'm dealing with an includer or not.
Yeah, I think because as soon as I already like to play devil's advocate, but as soon as somebody ostracizes something or someone from the status quo, I automatically run to that defense of that person or that thing, even if it's just to play devil's advocate. Like if I could be with a group of people and somebody just randomly says, I don't like that person. Okay, that's one thing. I can quote 5 things about that person. Why you could, can you match me with 5 things why you don't like that person? And if so, let's like that person together and let's include them in. That's just the kind of way my brain works and the way that I react. So.
Right. Yeah, and it's good to know that about yourself, right? That you do become biased all of a sudden.
I do.
Yeah, and you jump to the defense of someone who may have actually done something, to shape a certain perspective, in someone else's mind. Some of the words y'all like to hear are, include, accept, equal, important, just people in general. You guys are people persons. Involve, welcome. What your ears perk up on is when you hear exclude, overlook, ignore, left out, rejection. Okay. All right. Let's go through these. When you have includer, you'll want to consider when including so many people in certain situations becomes a detriment, so as to not be so inclusive under whatever circumstances those are. Note that decisions could be slowed down when asking for everyone's input moving forward. So you either have to decide whether that's okay, or you have to be prepared to handle the complexities generated when everyone does not agree. If you are too inclusive, groups could suffer from too many cooks in the kitchen and be less productive. So you always want to ensure, do those checks on yourself that there is a reason and there's value to including each person into a discussion or a particular initiative. This will also demonstrate to the rest of the team respect for people's time. Just like we said before, people who thrive on one-on-one interactions are going to need one-on-one time with you. So you always want to make sure and respect this, even though it's not your nature. And if you do need to bear bad news or hurt feelings, there's a couple things you can do. One, you can do some reading to really find ways that you can do this effectively, or you can partner with other people with other strengths that are comfortable with that to get their support and to get their advice on how to, it's so funny. I've been getting some advice from some commanders, multiple commanders, to try, because I have harmony in my top 10, to try and hurt somebody's feelings that I don't want to hurt their feelings. There's some things that just, need to be resolved. And it's hard. It's really hard for us very accommodating, kind, nice people who don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I mean, it's just the last thing we want to do. It's really hard to find a way to say what you need to say. And I find that when I'm in those situations, I really got to find the root. I got to dig real deep to get to the root of the why behind everything, so that I can then position it in a way that makes it good for both people. That it's a win-win, because it's just so hard to just you know that you're going to crush somebody's feelings, you know, with what you say. Okay. I guess that's a good way someone could manipulate us too, now that I'm thinking about it. You know, if someone knows that you care that much about hurting someone's feelings, they could always position things to you to hurt their feelings. That's rude. Don't do that to us. So on the screen now, it's includer collaboration. So if you are an includer, there's lots of things that you can do to add value to a team. And obviously this is very natural to you. You know, it's natural to you to help everyone connect, to help them find common ground, to work with and interact with people all day long, to help people feel comfortable and appreciated and accepted, to be recognized for the value they're bringing to the table, to recruit the group's support. You know, there's times when you'll see includers say, hey, everybody, so-and-so, you know, just had a baby. Let's make sure that we support that person and do something nice for her, et cetera, et cetera. So lots of wonderful things you guys can do proactively to add to the collaboration of the team. And if I'm then working with you, again, I need to refrain from being exclusive. I need to make sure I'm showing my support and warmth to you and to others on the team. I can ask that person to do some of the things that they bring to the table, like help everyone connect, or, you know, make sure, like, I'll always ask an includer if I work with one, who did I forget? Because I'm always forgetting people. Who did I include? Who got left out? Let's make sure that, you know, the invitations are going out to everyone that should be there. What else? Is there ways that you guys really appreciate, you know, when you see something or when someone's interacting with you a particular way? Because we want to know how to work with you guys well.
This is pretty extensive. This is pretty comprehensive. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here's some potential partnerships for you includers. And these are specific to strength partnerships. You know, if you have different people on your teams that you might want to go to and collaborate with for certain, you know, to get certain results.
Brandy, if I could comment, I know when you said about includers and what works for us, I think people wanting to do things, I think a lot of times when I'm including, it's more of putting a team together to move to some goal. And if everybody's on the same page, that really, I guess, fires us up. I guess we don't really understand why people don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Why they don't want to be part of the team, why don't they want to be included? So that's sometimes something for me anyway.
Yeah, and what you guys just heard is Mariana's achiever plus includer. She said she really likes to get people together to collaborate, to move towards a goal, right? To get something done, to achieve something. And yeah, as an includer, it's unfathomable why someone wouldn't want to be included. But as you guys have worked with lots of other people, you've gotten to know that some people don't need that, don't want that, and want to just work independently. Okay. Relationships. Relationships come easy to you because you are so kind and accepting and non-judgmental and supporting. And this is how you build relationships. This is what relationships are all about, is accepting people for who they are and helping them feel comfortable with that. So relationships can be, you know, easy from that regard. Then you've got the other things, some of the other things that we've talked about that can make it difficult, which is, you know, when you're in a relationship, your spouse, your partner wants to feel special. They want to feel different. They want to feel more like, you go above and beyond for them. They don't want to feel like you're doing the same thing for them that you're doing for everybody else, which is really hard for you. It's really against your nature to do something special for one person and then not do it for everybody else, because you feel like you're leaving them out. But when it comes to a partnership situation, when you're close with someone, and you do have to help them feel like they are a little extra special. And I think one of the main things that you guys bring from a value standpoint to the relationships is to be that person who ensures that, as a team, we're not overlooking something. And that can be overlooking family and friends, but it can also be overlooking something in the finances or overlooking something at the home that needs to get done. You guys have an eye for things that are getting left out, or that are being neglected and not considered.
I have an includer question.
Go ahead.
How do you deal with, pardon me, how does includer override or work with, like somebody else may not trust somebody and not want them to be included in a group or whatever. There is a different level of trust. I mean, where does trust come in the includer world? Is it, we trust you no matter, trust first and then figure it out later, or if other people have questions or concern, how does that work? That may be the reason for somebody else not wanting to include, and it may not be a big thing, but in some way there's a issue of, there's not 100%, I guess, comfort level with somebody. So
Right.
how does an includer deal with that?
Right. So the question is for you includers out there, when you have a group of people, some team members, and there's some mistrust among the team members, therefore the team members are not including the other team member, probably back and forth, because there's a lack of trust. How have you guys successfully dealt with that? And also, how do you in your personality include people when you don't trust them? Or do you not? Or is that an exception?
Again, for me, with context being my number one, so I kind of have some understanding of each one of these people and their makeup. And with communication also being in my top 5, I tried to establish some type of bridge, maybe some new form, maybe just for this project, as like a stopgap, just for us to be able to work together, just to accomplish this goal. I'm not asking you to become lifelong buddies after this, but let's come to a truce and work towards this common goal. And after this is over with, I can work on trying to repair that bigger relationship outside of this common goal. That's how I would, and I think I normally go about it.
And how do you help repair the relationship after the goal is accomplished? What are kind of the steps that you take to try and help these two people trust each other again?
Play up the good things that each one have done, show redemptive qualities that each one has, and try to make the other person empathize, or because again, I'm big on context. So I try to, anyone that I'm dealing with, try to know some background, because I've tried to build, that's how I've built my relationship with you. And then I'll try to bring others along this same path. Like, this is why I like this person, because I have this in common with them. You have this in common with them. Maybe you guys can build a relationship on this and let bygones be bygones. Now, that's my Pollyanna optimistic view that doesn't always work out, but I'd say I'm pretty successful.
And I think what I'm hearing is that you don't have to love the person in their entirety.
Exactly.
But you can love certain aspects about them and focus on those and get along with those pieces of that person's personality, even if you don't love, you know, so for someone like you, Susan, who's very analytical, you might have to just lay out the percentages, right? Like, I only love 20% of this person.
And that's how I'm able to get along with everyone. I just, as long as I can focus on this 20%, the other
Yeah.
80, I just will
Yeah.
have an out of body experience when you're 80 and up on me. And when you're doing your 20% that I can deal with, then hey, I'm fully focused with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got, you know, a couple more minutes. So I'm going to kind of fly through a couple of these. You can read through them later. Do you guys all get these slides on LinkedIn? Are you able to access them, download them, and look through them and take screenshots and stuff later so you have the information? Or maybe you're doing it now. Okay. If you don't, just ask. I'm happy to get you guys this information whenever you need it. Okay, so Chad has given us a lot to think about as how he handles his teams as a leader with the includer strength. And it's really about making sure everyone feels accepted, included. It makes sure that everyone is getting to use their gifts every single day so that we can value them for the contributions that they're bringing. And again, to create the collaboration among the team members so that, you know, the group's productivity is nice and high. And it can also be across departments, with clients. It doesn't have to be just within the team members. If you are managing somebody with Includer, you know, you can ask them, who all do you want to be included in you know, in different things, because they may want a whole horde of people or a party of people to join, you know, certain things that they're doing. So you can really connect with them by asking that question and negotiating with them who should or shouldn't be included in some particular thing. You want to ask them, of course, as a manager, to use their strengths. So, you know, ask them, has anyone been forgotten, left out, or overlooked? Or, you know, can you please help me with these new employees and help them get involved and feel like they know people, you know, get them connected with some partners or mentors. These are all things that this person's really going to want to do anyway. So you just want to focus in on their strengths and help them use them. And again, you know, the pitfalls of a manager: do not show any judgment towards other people when you're with these people. Don't exclude others, you know, just show a lot of acceptance and care for all employees, and you'll have their respect. I also think it's important as a manager to partner up with this person to say, look, if you do need to dispel some bad news or, you know, give some feedback that's not exactly positive, let me know. And as a manager, I'll walk through that with you. You know, I'll help you figure out how to do it well, or I'll show you how to do it, or I can do it for you if you really don't want to. Like, there's just some things you can do to really help that person feel like they have your support. Okay. Obviously, the way these guys are going to learn best is when they are with people and they are interacting and they are in these group settings and trying to make sure everyone in the room is feeling like they should be there. When I'm coaching an includer, obviously I've got to show them that, you know, I am not judging them at all. I'm just listening and getting to know them and trying to meet them wherever they are. And then, you know, once we get established of, I understand you and understand how you work and you tick, then let's get you using some of these things. What kinds of careers or professions really lean on that inclusion strength? What types of activities can you do to use this includer strength so that it is seen and acknowledged? And then also people start to come to you and start asking you to use that strength on a normal basis. You know, how do we get you paid to use your includer strength so that you get to be happy and, you know, do something that you love doing every single day? That's my job as a coach, as I'm working with them, you know, brainstorming those types of opportunities. And then here are just some various actions that you guys can take during your days. to make sure that you're using your includer strength. A few more. And I've listed some books in case you want to capture this that you guys can look into to see if any of these are up your alley. A few more. Is there anything that anybody would like to ask of the group before we close today? Does everyone feel like you understand an includer pretty well and what they're all about, what they care about, how they're wired, what makes them tick?
Understand myself a little better.
Okay. Is there any questions, Chad, from your perspective of being an includer that you would like to ask the team, here on the call today?
Basically, for those who work with includers, I would just ask if there is any ask of me as an includer, or how would you, or no, the answer is no.
You're just saying, I want to include you. So just be open and honest with me about what you need so that you feel included, accepted. I mean, that's what's really important to you.
Yes.
To let you know. And so if you guys are working with an includer, they want you to feel included. They want you to feel accepted. So if that's not happening, you just need to talk to them about how that can happen.
Even if it's don't include me as much as you would like to include me. I'd like to know that. So I'd know not to include you, not to always try to bring you in.
Exactly.
Brandy, I would say that I think I've seen this includer probably has really let me see all the other strengths, my other 4 a lot clearer. And I probably didn't put as much weight in my includer. I thought maybe the arranger was probably what led me with people, but I think it's my includer now, just because it's like it with all the other ones.
And arranger is the one that's arranging, rearranging, rearranging, and getting all of the tasks and people and things arranged in an alignment that is efficient and operational. But it's the includer that really cares deeply about people, how they feel, what they're experiencing, and that they feel like they belong there and are a part of the community. So I can see why you could use those two together, right? As, okay, not only do I care about how you feel and that you feel accepted and acknowledged and that valued, but we can also get you, we can move you around and get you in the right place so that you are getting to use your strengths every day to make the operation, work well, make it efficient.
I have a quick thought.
Yeah.
So after hearing everything and Chad's comments and all, I'm thinking now that, did you ever see 2 people talk and you think, oh, I didn't know so-and-so knew so-and-so, or they don't seem like they're in the same world? Now I'm thinking that could be an includer. Is that too vague?
Who's the includer? Yeah, it's a bit vague.
The person that, if I know a certain person and then they're talking to somebody else or whoever, or looking more, just that are too, like, personality wise, or appear to be complete opposites.
Sure.
I'm thinking now that one of them is the includer, maybe the one that seems to be dominating conversation or whatever, bringing in the person that I didn't think fit with them. Maybe
right,
that's
a good point. Yeah, because includers really try to get along with everybody. That's right.
okay.
So yeah, I guess if you see an odd pairing, it's kind of safe to assume that one of them's an includer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll see individualizers do that as well, because individualizers are fascinated by every single individual unique human and their strength set. Yeah. And so they have really interesting relationships with people.
So is a woo just somebody who wants to get to know you, but an includer wants to keep you in their involve you in things?
It's a little bit flipped. So a woo just wants to win you over, then move on to the next person. Win you over, and move on to the next person. Win you over, and move on. It's very highly influential. The includer wants to get to know you and wants to
Okay.
include you and wants to build the relationship with you just a
Okay.
little bit more. Now, you will find people with both a lot, includer woo.
Really?
Yeah, because they're both all about taking that circle of influence that you have and growing it and welcoming
Okay.
people into it. And so, yeah, you get people with both includer and woo, and then they're mega, right? Because they are not only winning people over, but they're also building the relationships, but it's so inclusive. It's just like grow and broaden my network when you have
Both
Okay.
in my top 10. Woo is number
Wow.
9 for me, and include is number 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you guys, people with those are very comfortable with new people and
Uh-huh.
unknown. And
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. I really appreciate it. Feel free to send me questions. I have mapped out a schedule for these because I've been getting requests on when we're doing what. So I'm going to start including this on the post. Let me show you really quickly
Mhm.
before we go what the schedule is so you can capture it. Let's see here. What's the best way to do this? Let's just go here. One moment, please. Deliberative will be next week's. So activity, posts, your little reminder is here. So here's the schedule.
Yay.
He was super happy about that.
I like that too. I put a snapshot of that on my computer.
Yes. And I think that gets us all of them. So we're going to be doing at least these single strengths now until the end of July. And we'll give you all an idea of when we're doing it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining. We will talk to you next Monday about deliberative.
Yay. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good one. You're welcome.
Goodbye, everyone. Great session.
Thanks, Chad. Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.